People say that in this elections, it's essentially one of Barisan Nasional versus Pakatan Rakyat, and there is really no opportunity or no chance for independent candidates to come to the fore as real choices for voters. Do you agree?
I don't. For the simple reason is because, well, in the case of what has been happening, you see, both Barisan Nasional and Pakatan, they have actually had nearly more than a year of campaigning indirectly. But on the basis that, I'm saying on the basis that, you see, for the independent, it's just that we need to have the opportunity to reach out to the voters. And if we have good, what I call ideals. And I have written a book right now, and it's called One World, One Dream. And together we can achieve it.
But can we stop you there? I just want to ask you, Beng, do you think that the argument that, in fact, voters, however sympathetic they are to the independents might have public service on a record on their side, they might actually be known to the community, that for them the fight really at this point in time, in this point in Malaysia's political history, is really one between Barisan Nasional and Pakatan Rakyat?
I like to agree on that because of the publicity given to Pakatan Rakyat and Barisan Nasional as well. Because you every day, in fact, for the Pakatan Rakyat, you have the ceramah, which is very powerful, to reach out to a lot of people. So for independent people like us, we may have the track record, they may know who we are, but every day when they go to the ceramah, they've been what they call influenced by those political parties. And it comes to a point where they're so brainwashed that it's very difficult for candidates like us to actually speak to them and also to convince them.
Now, there's a difference between the both of you. You're standing for a parliamentary seat, Beng, you're standing for a state seat. Are there different dynamics in terms of persuading people about the value of having an independent in these different assemblies, in Parliament, for instance?
Yes, because in my case, because you see, what I'm trying to reach out to the Rakyat is that, you see, in the case of when you cite any of the two parties, you are actually, whoever gets to win for that matter, if we want to talk about the separation of powers between the judiciary, the executive, and the parliament, you see, I believe that if all the popular leaders are all elected and they all go towards the cabinet, what happens to all the balance of the candidates who won? They will definitely have to toe the line. And so on that basis, then you see, there will be no separation of powers because whatever the master says, they have to follow. In the case of we as independent, we have no masters behind us except ourselves. So on that basis, we will listen to the Rakyat and we will voice whatever grievances or whatever good points that the Rakyat is raising. And we will praise the government if we need to praise so that we will bring together unity.
Beng, you've made the argument in a local newspaper that with Parliament there might be some logic in terms of accepting this Barisan Nasional Pakatan divide,
yes,
but that at the state level people should be voting for candidates who can serve them, people who are reliable and are from the community.
Yes.
In your constituency in Damansara Utama, both the candidates, or at least the JP candidate, is not from that area, and you've been critical of them, openly critical of them. Can you explain a little more about this argument that you have about the need for local people at the state level?
It's very important because for someone to serve in Damansara Utama, you have to be familiar with the community, their local issues. That is very important. As an adult, you'll be in charge of the infrastructure, traffic, crime, and development in Damansara Utama. So if you're not familiar with the area, you cannot serve them. And you have to be very close to the community leaders. I am very close to them. I've been serving there for 12 years. I know every RALT chairman there. Well, Miss Liew, she has just come in for the last 12 months, and she's a special assistant to Tony Pua. I have never met her until the day of the nomination. But it's very strange.
But wouldn't people say, well, actually that's something for a councillor to do, something that local government does best, and that even at the level of the state assembly, we're looking actually at lawmakers, not people who are going to be dealing with the concerns of the municipality.
True. As an adult, I will have councillors representing me in my area. So in that way, I can get my councillors to deliver the services to my constituency. Because, like I said, we had in my time of service, the last time I have experience with BN, I have 5 years experience with DAP, Pakatan Rakyat, and I'm not happy with their services. They have not done their job. So I'm just quite fed up and just decided to offer my services to the community.
Sinwa, you talked about, or you suggested that in fact, independents have a massive challenge. They lack the machinery. Money is obviously going to be a problem too, unless you're independently wealthy. What other challenges do you think that, for instance, the media doesn't take you seriously? The media doesn't take independence seriously.
That's the reason why when just about ago, I actually issue an open challenge to my worthy opponents. 2. One is I told them actually. I actually welcomed them to join me to actually reject the opinion of Syed Hamid, our caretaker defense minister, if I'm not mistaken. And that is to say that it was an insult to the candidacy of like us, because for him to say that we are rejects. Because if he reads and if he goes to my Facebook and get to my to it and see what I have written, and this is not overnight, and this is something that it was from the bottom of my heart. And he would then, I think on his own, if he is a concerned, caring Malaysian, then he should actually withdraw his statement. But anyway, my 2 worthy opponents did not come forward. And I also actually extended an open invitation, but it's again through my Facebook. And that is, I've actually invited them to join me in this, for the sake of Malaysians, to raise up the issues, and we want to debate it out very casually. And my purpose was that, but I understand from the Star journalist, and that is Wong Chen, my worthy opponent, has actually issued an invitation to the Barisan Nasional candidate, Law Sing Kok, but he has turned down. But he has not given me that invitation. But I have actually extended on nomination day itself. And actually, based on that itself, I've actually called up, because in the course of me following the Election Commission officers to look at the polling station, to look out for the warungs, I was told to become the peacemaker. That means mine will be in the center, while the Barisan Nasional and the Pakatan will be on the side. And they said that you will make a very good pacemaker. In fact, I actually lightened up the whole atmosphere in the nomination hall, and to the extent the election officer the returning officer was just saying that, "To, you are that brave a Malaysian to come forward to challenge the 2 giants."
Okay, I want to ask also, you both have been campaigning now for some days. What has been the reception, Beng, what are people saying to you when you go up to them and say, "Hey, I'm a candidate," are they saying, what flag? I mean, is there problems of recognition? I mean, you have a key, you have the elephant, you call the patriarch, which interesting. But,
yes.
In terms of that kind of political literacy of ordinary Malaysians, will they be able, when they're confronted with the ballot, to actually discern what this is? Your key, for instance.
I think the media will play a very important role in this aspect, because during my campaign, when I approached the electorate, they will ask me, "Where are you from? Are you from DAP or are you from BN?" So you get all kinds of reaction from.
And what do you usually say?
I've said I'm a calon bebas, independent candidate for your constituency.
And do they respond positively to that?
Some of them do, yes, and they accept my card and I give it to them.
Right. Have you ever gotten hostile responses from people?
Yes. In fact, it was so challenging that I actually met diehards of Barisan Nasional supporters, and I also met diehard supporters of Pakatan Rakyat. And frankly speaking, they are members. And when I had good session with them, I told them this. And I spent 45 minutes with just one diehards. And after the whole session, he actually put up his hand and he saluted to me and said, "To, I never come across a candidate like you." But then I told him back in reply, I said that, "You see, I spent these 45 minutes with you, not because it is in vain. It is because your one vote means so much to me. And I want this message to go out to all the Malaysians. Please go to my Facebook, you'll read about it, you know what I'm talking about. A one world, one dream, one Malaysia."
Okay, I want to ask you, just to final kind of wrap up, Beng, for your constituency of Damansara Utama, what message, in 10 seconds maybe, or 15 seconds, could you say, what exactly do you think you bring to the table for Damansara Utama and its politics?
Okay. The important thing is that they have to vote for me, because I'm a candidate who have served in their community for the last 12 years. I have the experience, the ability, and the commitment to serve them.
Sinwa, for you, Kelana Jaya, what are you bringing to the table?
to me, the Kelana Jaya residents, they are all affluent, they are knowledgeable, and they are fearless. I would like to read out this statement of mine, and that is that I solemnly promise that I will remain your loyal, reliable, and trusted people's representative to check effectively, without fear or favor, the new ruling coalition government promises of a clean, transparent, and fair society. And I would sincerely wish to be the catalyst of change so needed by the country. And a vote for me is a vote for Malaysians, I solemnly promise.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to all Malaysians. I hope the Kelana Jaya residents will respond by giving me that support. And likewise, I would like the residents of Damansara to give likewise support to my good just got to know a friend. Don't forget, 79 members are standing. If we all win, we can become the kingmaker, and we can actually extend to the East Malaysians and tell them to come and join us, and we could be the ruling party, but with minority. We are not afraid of that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.